Okay, here we go. Session 2 of testing the BOBOVR E3 Pro battery. A few things I forgot to mention last night when I signed off on my little check-in. I actually ended up doing a VR meditation. So there's this app called Tripp. I made a review of the Tripp app actually when I was using Oculus Quest 2. Really cool app actually. And when I went in there yesterday, it had completely changed. They've added so much stuff. They've got like this AI guide now, and you go and talk to it. You tell it what kind of trip you want, and it'll, make up a meditation for you. Anyway, I ended up going in and doing that, and it gave me the opportunity to test out the flat back feature. That is one of the newer features of the E3 Pro. They claim that this headset's been designed with laying down in mind, and can confirm it works great. The meditation I did as well was also part of the 14% battery that we drained in that first session. The other thing I wanted to mention was shortly after I signed off from yesterday's little check-in, if we have a look at the length of time that my first session was 33 minutes and 35 seconds. Very close to 15% of the max time that this is said to last for. So when you extrapolate that out, just after the first session, it looks like we're fully on track for this to hit 4 hours of extra gameplay, which is pretty promising in the beginning. However, I really want to test it all the way through. So all the games that I downloaded in yesterday's session, I'm going to go and utilize them now. I'm going to play a bit of Beat Saber. I'm going to do a bit of boxing. I'm really going to try and push this battery to the limit. So if we look and check, if I put the E3 Pro battery on, it's literally the morning after my last session. We are still on 86%, so that's great. It means that we haven't lost any extra charge overnight by the battery just sitting there, which is awesome. We're good to just continue on. And yeah, I think without further ado, it's time to get into it. Oh boy, does that make me sweaty. So I did a Thrill of the Fight as my little finisher. I bloody loved that actually. I've got so much to talk about. So I started the session at about 9:58. So that's when I started recording that first video where I was doing up the Beat Saber thing. I've just finished now at 11:47. That is roughly 109 minutes. If we plus that with yesterday's session, 109 plus 33. So that's 142 minutes in total that I've done so far. And if we have a look at the percentage, we're currently sitting on 43%. So I've marked that down. We've gone from 86% to 43%. So I've literally halved the battery power since when I started. Because I started at 86%, went to 43%. How many hours is that? Hey Google, how many hours is 142 minutes?
142 minutes is 2.367 hours.
Okay, so I've been going for 2.3 hours. That's how much extra battery life this has already given me. It's still got 43% left to go, which will be another session. I'm going to try and smash that session out tonight. Surprisingly, mini golf in VR. I don't even like golf, okay? It's not my game. I'm not very good at it. I'm not very patient with it. But that was freaking cool. I would recommend to anybody, even if you don't like golf. If you've got a VR headset and you haven't played that before, give it a crack because it's pretty cool. I also couldn't believe how realistic the golf club made it feel. So it was a bit tricky to measure it up. I've got some footage of me trying to calibrate it, but once I got it calibrated, bloody awesome. These extensions as well, when you're playing Beat Saber, it actually feels like you're holding a lightsaber. It's epic. Raving fan. And then when I was playing Super Hot as well, so I remember how much I freaking loved that game. I think when I first started VR, I was using someone else's headset and they had Superhot, and that's where I first got a feel for it. But when I got my Oculus Quest 2, I was like, I'm not paying $42 for that game, so I never got it again. But in light of getting those guns, which I've just found out as well, are completely cosmetic. They do nothing. They don't talk to a game or anything or help you play better. They just make it feel like, yeah, I'm holding a gun. So it was pretty cool though. In terms of the actual strap, solid, really, really comfortable, okay? I just did 4 activities. 3 of them were super active. So I did Super Hot, lots of moving around, Beat Saber, lots of moving around, Thrill of the Fight, lots of moving around. Didn't have to adjust the headset once, and that is what you want. When you compare something like this and you do those games with the original strap that comes with the MetaQuest 3 or even the 3S, I dare say, you really, really notice it. So I didn't have to adjust once. What I am noticing with this though, however, is the hinges on this E3 Pro, they're quite rigid. And that's something that I didn't have an issue with the M3 Pro. And I also don't have that with the Kiwi design straps. The hinges are usually really like fluid. These just feel really like, so actually putting it on and refitting it every time I take the headset off, got a little bit frustrating, but the fit, once you get it in the right spot, like that extra hinge rotation and the way that Bobo designed these things, they're literally the best. A little bit later tonight, I will be coming back and diving into Meta Horizon Worlds. I've been a little bit apprehensive to go in and see it because they have released it in Australia, which is great, but in these VR games where you can actually approach people, it's a little bit like, ugh, I don't know. I've got to dive into it at some point, and I might make a separate video about MetaQuest, but I've also got to do a check-in about what the battery was at before we started and when we ended. I'll work out how to do it. Anyway, that's it for now, and yeah, if you've got any questions thus far, make sure you leave a comment. Thanks.